Thank you, everybody, for joining us back here at Lobe Sciences channel. We're, of course, sitting here once again with Chief Executive Officer and Director Phil. Phil, we have some more questions, man. Are you ready to answer some?
I love it. Let's go.
So some of these questions, they're really relating to associations you guys work with, like the NFL Alumni Association and the World Boxing Association. And they're curious if there's any sort of ties we could pull to perhaps bring on people like Mike Tyson or even Joe Rogan, right? There's a lot of big names out there that really support the use of psychedelics for therapeutic uses, right? And people are just curious if there's anything we can do there.
Yeah, well, there's a lot we can do there and a lot that we're working to do. We clearly want to create a global community of people who can access vetted, validated pharmaceutical products. And it's important for us as a pharmaceutical biotech company to keep our focus on the end result, which is helping patients and patients with all types of mental disorders, patients with anxiety, patients with depression, patients with Alzheimer's, et cetera, PTSD and brain trauma. We have a focus on that, but the key steps are we need to follow the regulatory guidance. So unlike companies that are and environmental groups that are pushing for the legalization of the mushroom that people can take in various cities across our country and in Canada and Europe, we're working to get legalized pharmaceutical products that are well vetted and documented to be safe for patients across the globe. And we certainly do plan on making this a global event, and it starts with our first psilocin compounds.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think it falls along the lines we have to walk before we can run with a lot of this stuff, right? You very much have to play the game correctly. It's not we aren't fighting a large recreational push for legalization of these things. We're talking about using them for real therapeutic purposes to help people. And kind of in that same vein, when you had mentioned PTSD, they were also curious about partnering with armed forces or perhaps veterans associations. Obviously, there's a huge chunk of population that could really benefit from some more therapies in that area, correct?
That's exactly true. Through our collaboration with Virtual Psychedelics, we're creating the Chrysalis system that is going to be instrumental in treating patients with psychedelic therapy as well as with counseling who have severe PTSD. Our core advisor in that area, Dr. Skip Rizzo at USC, is one of the world leaders in this space. So we plan to continue to push in that area, but also delve into the military, the US government, and other sources of not only funding, but of identifying critical patient groups that we both can benefit.
Yeah, and you had mentioned governments there too. Is there, what is the process of like getting a government to kind of endorse what's going on, or just to help fund a study related things that would obviously help their populations?
Sure, we getting the government endorsement here in the United States is an FDA clearance to market your drug after you've proven that it's safe in the target population. Getting governmental money through the CDC, through various military groups, whether it be BARDA, or whether it be the US Army, Navy, et cetera. They all have funding mechanisms. And we're looking into those. It's a long-term process. It's not something that happens in a matter of weeks or months. It takes up to a year and a half to get funding. It's non-dilutive. We're looking at it, but we certainly would welcome anybody who has connections in that area that could help us, or connections to some of the celebrities that you mentioned earlier, from Joe Rogan to Mike Tyson. I'm open to talking to anybody.
Yeah, you bring up a really good point there. Again, as it is a community all working towards the same goal, if anybody has any of these connections, certainly send them our way and we'll happily talk with them and move things further along the lines. So I guess, Phil, the last thing was, when it comes to the idea of becoming of a more global thing, would creating, like, say, a Lobe Sciences Netherlands or Lobe Sciences Australia, would you think that would really have any sort of benefit towards perhaps increasing the speed of the studies or anything, or what do you think?
It certainly can. And either European geography or oceanic geography down in Australia are opportunities that we are evaluating. There's multiple opportunities and multiple organizations that are interested and committed to doing what we're doing, which is developing therapeutics for many important conditions. And so, yeah, we are evaluating it, and we may have something to discuss in the next few months.
Perfect. Well, Phil, thank you again for coming on and answering questions. Thank you everybody for submitting them. I kind of made a hybrid out of all of them there. Please keep them flowing in. Very much appreciate it, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon. Last words, Phil, before we go.
That's it. Thanks a lot. And as Michael said, keep the questions coming.
Thank you for watching, everybody, and have a wonderful day.